Mr. Mayor, how are you, sir? Yeah, I know, I saw you. You just have to deal with it.
22s. That is the last change. We will read it. Whoever shows up, great.
Good morning. Throughout today's ceremony, you will be prompted to stand and to sit at the appropriate times. As a reminder, during the playing of the national anthem, all military members should stand, face the flag, and render a salute. All of our civilian guests should stand also and are recommended to place their right hand over their heart.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 1st Special Operations Wing and all of us who serve, thank you for attending the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of Operation Thursday. Please stand for the presentation of the colors, singing of the national anthem, and the invocation.
Present the colors. Right shoulder! Halt! Forward! Halt! Left about heart. Code. Halt. Present. Halt.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, her words so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regulate, the bombs are bursting in it, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right shoulder! Halt!
Ladies and gentlemen, let us go to God in prayer.
Holy God, we thank you so much for the beauty of this day. Father, thank you for our blessings, for our country that's founded on liberty, for the voice that we have in its government, for people who will defend it with their life. Father, we stand in the company of such men and women in this ceremony today. We thank you for their service and their leadership. We ask your blessings be upon them. Endow each of us with courage and strength that we may stand alert like those of Operation Thursday, like they did to affirm the ideals for which others have sacrificed and exalt the memory of their commitment to our nation. Bless us, O Lord, to be faithful to each other, our friends and family, in this great nation we serve. We pray all of these things in your holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Chaplain Coburn, Airman First Class Bravo, and the Hurlburt Field Honor Guard. I am Major Kyle McClure from the 15th Special Operations Squadron.
And I am Captain Allie Zillweger from the 319th Special Operations Squadron. On behalf of the 1st Special Operations Wing, it is an honor to welcome you to today's ceremony.
We are gathered here in a spirit of remembrance and celebration of a courageous group of individuals whose actions helped lay the foundation for the evolution of the Air Force Special Operations Command and the 1st Special Operations Wing.
Please join us in welcoming the following special guests who served in Operation Thursday that began 75 years ago today.
Veteran of Operation Thursday and a C-47 pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Richard Cole, United States Air Force retired, and his daughter, Miss Cindy Chall.
Veteran of Operation Thursday and enlisted L-5 pilot, Senior Master Sergeant William Cartwright, United States Air Force retired, and his longtime friend, Mr. James Diddy.
Veteran of Operation Thursday and a B-25H gunner, Staff Sergeant Pat Mira, U.S. Army Air Force, and his spouse, Carolyn.
Author of Project 9, The Birth of the Air Commandos in World War II, Dr. Dennis Okerstrom and his spouse, Jeanette.
Also joining us are 3 sons of Fred H. Van Wagner, who served as a light plane pilot with the 1st Air Commando Group. Ralph R.D. Van Wagner, author of Any Place, Anytime, Anywhere, along with brothers Bruce and Roger Van Wagner. We are also honored to have several other distinguished guests with us today. Hold your applause until they have all been recognized.
From the Air Force Special Operations Command Team, the Commander and Keynote Speaker, Lieutenant General Marshall B. Webb and his spouse, Donna. The Deputy Commander, Major General Vincent Becklin. The Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Gregory Smith and his spouse, Tina. Mobilization Assistant to the Commander, Major General James Scanlon. The Executive Director, Mr. Don Plater. Spouse of Brigadier General William Holt, Special Assistant to the Commander, Ms. Jan Holt.
Also with us today, we have Senior Military Advisor to Representative Matt Gaetz, Mr. Nate Nelson. Mayor of Fort Walton Beach, the Honorable Dick Reinierson and his spouse Janie. And from the 1st Special Operations Wing Command Team, the Commander and our host, Colonel Michael Conley and his spouse Melissa. Vice Commander, Colonel Michael Curry, and the Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant William Adams III. Other additional guests include
Major General Richard Secord, United States Air Force, retired. Major General Clay McCutcheon, United States Air Force, retired. Chief of Staff of the Air Force Civic Leader Program, Emeritus, Mr. Tony Hughes, and his spouse, Mia. Commander, 24th Special Operations Wing, Brigadier General Claude Tudor.
Along with us today, Chief Master Sergeant Wayne Norad, United States Air Force, retired. Chief Master Sergeant Bill Tuner, United States Air Force, retired.
And finally, we'd like to extend a special welcome to all other wing commanders, civic leaders, honorary commanders, group and squadron commanders, directors, chiefs, first sergeants, veterans, and the men and women of Team Hurlburt.
Operation Thursday served as a foundational event for the Air Force. In the ingenuity and courage in the face of uncertainty demonstrated by the 1st Air Commandos allowed 10,000 Allied soldiers, 1,000 mules, and over 250 tons of supplies to be delivered over 200 miles behind enemy lines. Its unconventional use of aircraft and tactics helped establish the spirit and mentality of today's Air Commando.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our keynote speaker, Lieutenant General Brad Webb.
Well, good morning, Air Commandos. Seasoned and maybe less seasoned. Wes, I'm taking my cue from you. If it gets too chilly over there, give me the signal, okay? Thank you. So welcome to what is absolutely a very historic day, March 5th, 75 years ago, Operation Thursday. We already heard of our special guest we have in attendance, Operation Thursday veteran, C-47 hump pilot. And oh, by the way, he did this other thing, you know, with Jimmy Doolittle, you may have heard of the Doolittle Raiders. Lieutenant Colonel Dick Cole is with us today. 1st Air Commando Group veteran, enlisted L5 pilot, Senior Master Sergeant Bill Cartwright, and B-25 aerial gunner, Operation Thursday veteran, Staff Sergeant Pat Murray. We, all us Air Commandos, embrace you here today as you symbolically link your accomplishments officially with us today. Because of you, you are us and we are you. Thank you for being our pathfinders. Folks, today I want to talk about a concept. It's called the Big Mish. In my day, when I was a captain, Air Commando, the Big Mish, short for the Big Mission, was this concept. It was about unique aircraft. It was about unique locations. It was about a unique culture, the ability to think outside the box. It was about airmen that were willing to test out new technology, test out new tactics, techniques, and procedures. But there was also this, the excitement, the butterflies, the introspection that comes with the Big Mish. We're all human. We feel the same anticipation when we go on the Big Mish as these original Air Commandos did 75 years ago. We gather our hopes, we face our fears, we pray that our training has prepared us for every possible battlefield scenario. But the thing is, when you're assigned the Big Mish, rarely does everything go as planned. So we improvise, we adapt, we innovate to accomplish the mission. And finally, there's this, that persistent prayer that we utter, the please don't let me let down my teammates. For me, I've had several of what I would consider the Big Mish. Opening night of our Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was a squadron commander, charged with an 8-ship helicopter assault into Al-Fa Peninsula at the tip of Iraq. Seizing that terrain was the signal for the advance of forces to leave the line of departure and head north towards Baghdad. Of course, it was black, dark night. There was a lot more enemy activity than we expected. There was a lot more bombing and strafing to prepare that went on than we had anticipated. And in the confusion, there was a lot of helicopters that ended up in spaces they weren't supposed to be as we got behind timeline. In fact, our aircraft landed on enemy bunkers. The SEALs that were running out of the back were actually shooting the enemy as they were getting off of the helicopter. As we gathered back at that FARP site to take in the next wave, I got off to talk to the Brits. Some of my crewmen handed me a cigarette. I took it. I don't smoke. That's a big mish. Of course, long before Operation Iraqi Freedom, long before Bosnia, long before Desert Storm, Just Cause, Desert One, Sante, there was Operation Thursday. So imagine March 5th, 1944, the day of the Big Mish, for the then 5318th Provisional Unit Air, which became, just down the road, the 1st Air Commando Group. It's dusk. You're climbing into a fabric and wooden glider. Moments ago, you were issued an escape kit, 90 silver rupees, and a small block of opium. You're in one of 2 gliders to be towed in tandem by a C-47. Your mission? Land in the jungle, miles behind Japanese lines, and establish an airstrip. Imagine the silence of the men endured as they collectively held their breath when the gliders were pulled into the night sky. And then again when the tow line was released and released them into an unknown jungle clearing below. With the words of Colonel Cochran resonating in their minds. And I quote, "Nothing you've ever done, nothing you're ever going to do counts now. Only the next few hours. Tonight, you're going to find your souls." Then the silence is broken by the deafening sound as the overloaded gliders crash in the jungle. And it's in that chaos that it's immediately apparent, just as it has been repeated over the generations, the mission wouldn't execute exactly as planned. The Air Commandos immediately encountered 2 distinct problems. Number 1, Broadway is nothing like they imagined. Deep ruts, tree trunks, water buffalo holes, all masked by high grass. Broadway was not suitable for landing. Number 2, a relentless wave of gliders was on their way with no immediate way to stop them. And so it's in this moment, Air Commandos, when unforeseen circumstances threaten mission failure. It is in these moments in particular that Air Commandos prove their worth. Knowing that there was no turning back, they did what was required to accomplish the mission with determination, grit, and ingenuity. By moonlight, Colonel Allison quickly and deliberately rearranged the smudge pots to disperse the glider landings. Corporal True dodged incoming gliders and tow lines to fix the only radio that could have sent the code word to halt the next wave of gliders. Second Lieutenant Brackett, who led the effort to open Broadway using only a bulldozer on site. Using every available body, they filled the ruts to flatten the ground, and even improvised by creating a crude grader with teak wood logs to level the earth. Through that combined effort, they cleared and lit a 4,700-foot airstrip the very next night. Then Operation Thursday kicked into high gear. Despite these setbacks, Operation Thursday was hugely successful. Through the entire operation, Air Commandos delivered over 7,000 people and 400,000 pounds of supplies onto Broadway. And oh, by the way, and you can see it in your program, the many firsts of the 1st Air Commando Group, they proved out a future warfare concept. Operation Thursday is acknowledged as the first Allied air invasion in military history. It also greatly informed the glider assault aspect of the Normandy D-Day invasion, which took place mere months later. Operation Thursday and the 5318th Provisional Unit Air / 1st Air Commando Group laid the capstone for what is AFSOC today. This is a legacy of facing the unknown, overcoming fears, and overcoming challenges with adaptability and innovation. Knowing there is a way, we will find it. We continue this legacy today and every day. So again, Air Commando veterans, you are our pathfinders, you are us. Operation Thursday was the original soft Big Mish, but it wasn't the last. Everyone in this audience has lived the Big Mish, and frankly, you live it multiple times each week. A couple of examples. Erbil, 2014. After being out of Iraq for 3 years, ISIS overtook large swaths of Iraq, and we were required to go back. It's a different time, a different problem set, but the same mission. Infill into hostile location to disrupt, deny, and destroy enemy operations. Unable to gather critical details about the airfield, again, you face the unknown. Is the airfield suitable? Will there be fuel? What threats will we encounter? Despite the unknown and under the cover of darkness, 2 C-146s with joint partners landed in northern Iraq. The first aircraft, unique aircraft, in the new fight, landing behind enemy lines, just as our predecessors had done before us in the jungles of Burma. Story number 2, Kobani LZ, 2016. An isolated SOF team on the Turkey-Syria border needed constant resupply, but without a fixed-wing airfield. So what did we do? We made one. CV-22 infield an eight-man special tactics team, completed a landing zone survey. Talons weaved through a SAM weapons engagement zone and delivered 6 personnel and 12,000 pounds of equipment. Not the first airfield we've carved into the earth at an inconvenient time or an inconvenient place. And finally, there's Afghanistan, currently. Very recently in Afghanistan, Air Commandos executed a highly complex mission in a single period of darkness with little notice. Again, combat Talons opened an intermediate staging location in support of a direct action mission. After the infill, helicopters medevaced a casualty to a staging location. Special operations medical teams provided life-saving surgery on board the Talon en route back to Bagram. Special tactics airmen controlled the stack. U-28s provided overwatch. Gunships destroyed enemy positions. A near-perfect plan and near-perfect execution. Operation Thursday provided concepts that you and I have perfected over the years and execute on a daily basis around the globe. So despite being separated by time, despite fighting a different enemy in a different place, we share at a fundamental level the same attitude, the same spirit, the same character as the men of the 5318th and now the 1st Air Commando Group. We modern-day Air Commandos are extremely proud of our legacy to you all, our heroes. Dick, Bill, Pat, we are absolutely thrilled that you are here today to celebrate the 75th anniversary of this important day for Air Commandos. We've learned much from you. We are you, 75 years later. We will continue to follow your example, to be ready today, relevant tomorrow, and resilient always. Any place, anytime, anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, General Webb. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we invite General Webb and Colonel Conley to place a wreath at the 1st Air Commando Group Memorial to honor those who sacrificed their full measure of devotion during Operation Thursday.
This wreath is placed in solemn gratitude of the air commandos who have come before us and perished while defending the liberties of our nation and the world. Thank you, gentlemen.
General Webb will now present the Distinguished Unit Citation Streamer to the 1st Special Operations Wing, which was earned during Operation Thursday. The citation reads, "The 1st Air Commando Group was given a mission so unusual that few individuals outside the organization considered it feasible. Lacking proper military facilities for the assembling of their equipment and deprived for security reasons of native labor, officers and enlisted men assembled and tested the airplanes and equipment of the group in record time. Fighter pilots loaded bombs and refueled their own planes, while enlisted personnel unloaded strings of boxcars for future operations. The task performed by the group normally called for a strength of 5 times their number of personnel. The comparatively small assault force of the group flew as many as 682 missions in 1 month, and on one mission on 8 March 1944 destroyed 20% of the known Japanese aircraft in Burma. The liaison section of the group evacuated as many as 700 sick and wounded in less than 3 weeks. On D-Day, the group displayed exceptional teamwork, destroyed the enemy position, carried assault troops and engineers behind enemy lines, and supplied them until their mission had been accomplished. This display of group heroism and devotion to duty reflects the highest credit on the 1st Air Commando Group and the military forces of the United States."
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. To further honor the sacrifices of those who participated in Operation Thursday, the 1st Special Operations Wing will perform a flyover demonstrating the evolution of concepts and mission sets developed by the early air commandos. Each aircraft and capability it represents pays homage to the aircraft flown by the members of the 1st Air Commando Group.
First, the MC-130H Combat Talon II is a specialized C-130 featuring terrain following and terrain avoidance radars to provide infiltration, exfiltration, and resupply of special operations forces and equipment in hostile or denied territory. It fulfills the role originally assigned to the C-47s operating in the transport section of the 1st Air Commando Group, who were able to deliver and retrieve the personnel and material required for extended operations behind enemy lines. Newer Talon II mission sets include psychological operations and helicopter and vertical lift air refueling. The MC-130H is proudly flown by the 15th Special Operations Squadron and supports inherent resolve as well as worldwide contingency operations.
Next, the Ac-130u Spooky 2 is a heavily armed, side-firing attack aircraft featuring sophisticated sensors, navigation, and fire control systems to provide immediate surgical fire or area suppression during extended loiter periods, both at night and in adverse weather. Its Operation Thursday legacy equivalent is the B-25H Mitchell bomber, whose role was to support ground force movements, as well as harass and degrade enemy capabilities. The 3rd generation gunship specializes in close air support, air interdiction, and armed reconnaissance with its 25, 40, and 105 millimeter cannons. Spooky was overhead for the opening nights of Operation Enduring Freedom and continues to support operations in Afghanistan, in addition to worldwide contingency operations. The AC-130U is proudly flown by the mighty 4th Special Operations Squadron.
Next, the U-28A is a modified single-engine Pilatus PC-12 featuring tactical communications capabilities, electro-optical sensors, advanced navigation systems, and the ability to operate from short and semi-prepared runways. Its Operation Thursday legacy equivalent is the L-5 Vigilant light reconnaissance aircraft, which specialized in operations from unimproved airfields and was used for mission sets from aerial photography to medical evacuation. Today, the U-28A provides manned, fixed-wing, tactical airborne ISR support to humanitarian operations, search and rescue, and conventional and special operations missions. It currently supports Operations Freedom Sentinel and the Resolute Support Mission, in addition to worldwide contingency operations. The U-28 is proudly flown by the 34th and 319th Special Operations Squadrons.
Next, the CV-22 Osprey is a tilt-rotor aircraft that combines vertical takeoff, hover, and vertical landing qualities of a helicopter with the long range, fuel efficiency, and speed of a turboprop aircraft. Its mission is to conduct long-range infiltration, exfiltration, and resupply of Special Operations Forces. During Operation Thursday, the Sikorsky YR-4B helicopter pioneered vertical lift technology on the battlefield to include the first combat rescue by a helicopter. CV-22s currently support Operation Inherent Resolve in addition to worldwide contingency operations. The Osprey is proudly flown by the 8th Special Operations Squadron.
Finally, the AC-130J Ghost Rider is the Air Force 5th generation gunship and will provide unprecedented combat capability for Air Force Special Operations Command and its joint partners. It integrates side-firing 30mm and 105mm cannons with advanced digital avionics, a robust communication suite, and multiple precision-guided munitions. Its extensive loiter time, combat radius, and lethality honor the use of P-51A Mustangs and B-25H bombers used for long-range interdiction during Operation Thursday. As the most advanced AC-130 gunship, the AC-130J will transform the battlefield for years to come and is proudly flown by the 73rd Operations Squadron.
Today, the MC-130H is flown by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Lucas, Major Michael Tucker, Major Bo Parmer, Captain Jessamy Carr, Master Sergeant Chris Bohannon.
The AC-130u is flown by Major Clay Tenai, Major Ryan Whitehead, Major Chris Morrison, Captain Jordan Webb.
The U-28 is flown by Major Ed Miltenberger, Captain Chris Protos, Captain Larry Kozakowski, and Senior Airman Alex Collada.
The CV-22 is flown by Major Heidi Harker, Captain Jeffrey Horniman, Staff Sergeant Corey Bashan, and Senior Airman Jonathan Ring.
The AC-130J is flown by Major Ryan Sleater, Captain Bud LaFarve, Captain Caitlin Zito, First Lieutenant Shelby Copenhaver.
This commemoration ceremony is only a small token of the heartfelt appreciation we feel for the members of the 1st Air Commando Group who paved the way for the organization that stands before you. The 1st Special Operations Wing proudly carries forward the legacy of Operation Thursday and the 1st Air Commando Group, any place, anytime, anywhere. Please stand for the playing of the Air Force song.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending our ceremony today. Before you depart, please take a few moments to visit the Air Park, which represents the evolution of the Air Commando. Thank you so much.